a telegram saying, "Come at once if convenient, if inconvenient, come all the same." And he's either thinks somebody is playing a cruel trick on him, and he's going to have to give that person a thrashing, or it's actually Holmes not dead after all, in which case he's going to have to give him a thrashing. He's not a happy man, but he believes Holmes to be dead. And a storm has blown up. It's late in the afternoon. There's a storm at sea. One of the seas. The sea that comes. Don't make me try to think of seas. The afternoon sky was night dark with black clouds and driving rain as Watson gripped ropes with his free hand and hauled himself towards his cabin. Once or twice he dimly saw crew members working on their sealskin gear and streaming sou'westers. He set up a prayer that they'd maintain their hold, and then another that he'd maintain his own. He was almost at his door when he perceived through the black curtain of rain a kitchen hand who had boarded at Suez, and whom he'd recently treated for a nasty burn. "Delancey, lad," he shouted, "you should be below." Delancey grinned at him in a most unfriendly manner. "As soon as I'm done with this chore, Dr. Watson." The words were whipped away by the wind, and Watson doubted if he'd heard aright. But the boy lunged at him, a fish-cutting knife in his fist, and there was no mistaking Delancey's intent. Watson threw up his medical bag as a shield, deflecting the blow as the prow lifted. He was tipped against the walls of the cabin right behind him. He staggered as the prow plunged down into the boiling sea once more. Delancey came at him and pinned him to the deck. "The sea's been too quiet to make an easy interview since I found you on board," Delancey said, close to Watson's ear as he pressed his advantage and the blade of his knife close to the doctor's throat. "Until it seems the spirit of the professor sent me a storm to do you in. The Dare will be happy, he thought, to spread word for us to keep lookout. There'll be riches and praise for me when I get word out I did for you, and it'll teach that bastard Holmes there's no hiding from our revenge." Watson twisted under the lad, who was young and strong, but the doctor was more heavily set and experienced. He certainly knew better than to waste his breath on crowing over a victory that was not yet attained. Holding the blade away from his throat with a desperate grip around the lad's wrist, he jabbed the cold-numbed fingers of his free hand hard into Delancey's throat, into the vulnerable point under the hinge of his jaw, where nerve endings gathered beside the temporomandibular joint. As Delancey cried out and recoiled, Watson released his wrist and punched up, knuckle jutting out, into the man's temple. The prow lurched up, tumbling them over one another, awash with the freezing wave that scoured the deck. Watson flung out both arms, desperately seeking purchase. His hands tangled with the ropes fastening a lifeboat to the deck, and he held on. Delancey, mouth open in a terrible shriek that Watson couldn't hear for the storm, tumbled overboard. So much flotsam.